Most guys do the same thing when they like a woman. They chase her, they text too often, they try to impress her at every turn. And that's exactly where things go wrong. Most men believe that if they put in enough effort, if they chase hard enough, stay consistent with messages, give endless compliments, and show how much they care, eventually, a woman will recognize their value and choose them. On the surface, it sounds logical. More effort should mean better results, right? But when it comes to attraction, that mindset does the female psychology explained opposite. The harder you chase, the less drawn she feels to you. Why? Because chasing reverses the natural polarity between masculine and feminine energy. The moment you chase, you hand her the control. Without saying a word, you're communicating that she's the prize, that her attention and affection matter more than your own. And that energy doesn't read as love or confidence. It comes across as desperation, neediness, and something easily replaced. Attraction doesn't grow from pressure or pursuit. The one thing that changes everything. It grows from presence, confidence, and self-control. Real attraction begins when you stop focusing on getting her and start focusing on becoming someone worth choosing. Chasing is rooted in scarcity. The fear of losing her, the fear that you won't find someone like her again, the fear that you need to do more just to be enough. But attraction is born from abundance, from knowing that you already have value, that your time, your attention, and your energy are valuable and not handed out freely. When you stop chasing, you stop trying to prove yourself. You start embodying your worth and that quiet confidence. Why chasing kills attraction. The why this triggers attraction psychology behind it separates you from the crowd. In a world full of men seeking validation, a man who chases signals that he needs something from her: attention, approval, affection to feel complete. A man who attracts already feels whole. He doesn't rely on her presence to define who he is. He invites her into his life because his life already has purpose, direction, and peace. That's the energy women respond to. They can feel when a man's life has depth, when his confidence isn't built on how many people like him, but on how much he respects himself. That kind of presence is rare. Most men are busy. What men do, that kills. Interest trying to impress, while the few who focus on improving themselves become magnetic without even trying. Not chasing doesn't mean ignoring her or playing manipulative games. It means leading with calm, grounded energy. You can show interest without losing yourself. You can compliment her. You can spend time with her, but you don't overextend. You don't rearrange your entire life around her. You let things unfold naturally because you understand that attraction isn't forced. It's felt. The moment you stop trying to make her like you is often the moment she starts wondering why you aren't trying. That curiosity is where attraction begins. How to apply this naturally. When you stop chasing, your focus returns to yourself, your purpose, your goals, your growth. You move through life with direction. You're not running after anyone because you trust that the right woman will recognize your value without needing to be convinced, and understand female emotional triggers for real desire. That quiet power speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Before you say a single word to a woman, she's already picking up on something from you, your energy. It's invisible, but it speaks first. Most men think attraction starts with clever lines, humor, or saying the right thing. It doesn't. It starts with energy. The way emotional versus logical attraction. You carry yourself, how grounded you are, whether your presence feels calm or chaotic. You can say all the right words. But if your energy says, "I'm insecure, I need your approval," or "I'm trying too hard," she'll feel it instantly. On the other hand, when your energy says, "I'm at peace with myself, I don't need validation, I already know my worth," she feels drawn to you without even knowing why. Words can be practiced. Energy can't be faked. It shows who you are when the performance stops. Your energy comes from your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs about yourself. If deep down, you final psychology insight see yourself as not enough, No amount of surface-level confidence can hide it. You might dress well, speak smoothly, and appear confident, but your energy will still carry hints of neediness and doubt. That's why real attraction can't be forced. A woman's intuition is sharp. She feels your emotional truth before you open your mouth. If you're operating from anxiety or scarcity, it registers as pressure. But if you're calm, relaxed, and content within yourself, she feels safe around you. This isn't about being cold or detached. It's about being centered. When your mind is calm and your confidence is real, your presence becomes magnetic. Every interaction, whether you realize it or not, is an exchange of energy. When you walk into a room, everything about you, what to never do. If you want her obsessed is speaking before you say a word. Your posture, your eye contact, your breathing, all of it reveals your internal state. A man who's constantly trying to impress gives off nervous, scattered energy. He's seeking approval, but a man who's comfortable with silence, who doesn't rush to fill every gap with words, projects strength. Silence doesn't threaten him because he has nothing to prove. His energy says, I belong here. And that's what creates attraction. Women are naturally drawn to energy that feels steady, masculine, and grounded. Not the loudest man in the room, but the most centered one. Think about how it feels to be around someone who's truly confident. They don't need to talk much. Their presence alone shifts the atmosphere. That's because real confidence isn't dominance or arrogance. It's inner peace. The less you need to prove, the more powerful your energy becomes. When your energy is rooted in self-assurance, you stop chasing outcomes. You stop worrying about what she thinks or whether she likes you. You're present. You enjoy the moment. And that relaxed presence creates comfort, trust, and attraction at the same time. Women don't remember every word you say, but they always remember how your energy made them feel. Emotional control is one of the most powerful traits a man can develop, especially when it comes to attraction. It's not about suppressing emotions or acting numb. It's about mastering your inner world so completely that nothing outside of you can shake it. Most men don't lose women because of looks, status, or charm. They lose them because they lose emotional control. They get jealous too fast. They overthink. They react impulsively when things don't go their way. Women test emotional, the one thing that makes her think about you. Non-stop stability constantly, not to manipulate, but to understand who a man really is. They want to know if he can handle pressure, stay composed in uncertainty, and remain calm when emotions rise. How you respond when you feel challenged reveals more about your strength than anything you could ever say. Every man faces moments where his emotions are tested. Maybe she replies slower than usual. Maybe she seems distant. Maybe her energy shifts. The average man panics. He sends multiple messages, assumes the worst, or becomes visibly insecure. That reaction kills attraction instantly because it signals dependence. But the man who stays grounded, who breathes, pauses, and chooses patience over panic radiates a completely different energy. His emotional control shows that he governs himself. He isn't ruled by temporary feelings or external circumstances. That calm creates an aura of power. A man who doesn't fall apart when things go wrong radiates security. And security is one of the most attractive feelings a woman can experience. Emotional control doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It means understanding them. You can feel jealousy, frustration, or confusion without letting those emotions control your actions. When you master emotional control, you gain clarity. You start acting from logic and self-respect instead of fear and desperation. Women are extremely sensitive to emotional instability. They feel it when a man's world collapses over small things. But when you hold your ground, when your tone stays steady, even in tension, she feels safe. Your calm becomes her calm. You become the emotional anchor. And that's why emotionally strong men are so attractive. They don't drain energy. they stabilize it. Most men mistake emotional control for coldness. In reality, it's maturity. It means you've learned how to manage your inner storms. You can speak respectfully when angry, stay patient when things don't go your way, and choose silence when your ego wants to react. That discipline separates boys from men. And once you develop it, you'll notice people treat you differently. Not because your words changed, but because your presence did. Emotional control gives you quiet power. It earns respect without demanding it, and that presence is unforgettable. A man without purpose is easily lost, and nothing destroys attraction faster than a man with no direction. Too many men build unshakable confidence. She'll feel it. Instantly center their lives around. Women chasing relationships, seeking validation, measuring their worth by attention. But real strength, real magnetism, comes from living with purpose first. When your goals, vision, and mission come before any woman, respect follows naturally. You stop needing someone to complete you because your path already gives you meaning. That sense of purpose is magnetic. It signals independence, confidence, and self-respect. The three traits that make a man impossible to ignore. Women can feel the difference between a man who's grounded in his mission and one who's drifting. A man with purpose moves differently. He doesn't chase, he attracts. His focus isn't on constant attention. It's on building something meaningful. His energy is invested in growth, career, health, craft, discipline, and a man like that doesn't need to convince anyone to stay. His life already speaks for itself. A man without purpose often becomes emotionally dependent. He pours his entire identity into one woman and slowly loses himself. That's when insecurity, jealousy, and neediness take over. But when you put purpose first, you stay balanced. No matter who enters or exits your life, your foundation stays intact. Purpose gives you stability that no relationship ever could. When you live for something bigger than yourself, you stop clinging to temporary validation. You don't need approval because your mission fulfills you. Women are drawn to that energy. They respect men who are disciplined, focused, and committed to growth. Not because they're cold, but because how to create emotional attachment without manipulation. They're rare. Strength with direction. Love changes when you have purpose. You don't enter relationships from emptiness. You enter from abundance. You're not looking to be saved. You're inviting someone to walk beside you. Your mindset shifts from, I need her, to, I'm building something and she can join if she aligns. That shift changes everything. Your time becomes valuable. Your attention becomes meaningful. A woman doesn't want to be your mission. She wants to be part of it. And when you lead with purpose, she doesn't question where you're going. She feels inspired to follow. One of the most misunderstood elements of attraction is mystery. Most men believe they need to be fully open, constantly available, and endlessly expressive to build connection. They think honesty means immediate exposure, sharing every thought, emotion, and detail all at once. But mystery isn't about games or hiding yourself. It's about allowing connection to unfold instead of forcing it through overexposure. Attraction thrives on curiosity, not certainty. When she doesn't know everything about you right away, her mind starts to wander. That feeling of there's something about him creates emotional pull. When everything is revealed too fast, there's nothing left to discover. And discovery is what keeps attraction alive. Mystery doesn't mean distance. It means space. You don't rush to fill silences. You don't overshare your past. You don't explain every move. You let action speak. You listen more than you talk. You stay focused on your life. You keep parts of yourself private until they're earned. That space creates curiosity, and curiosity fuels desire. People value what unfolds slowly. When she can't fully read you, her mind invests in understanding you. She thinks about you when you're not around. That's how attachment forms, not through constant availability, but through subtle unpredictability. In a world of oversharing, mystery is rare. Social media has trained people to expose everything: thoughts, emotions, lifestyles, seeking validation. When you move differently with privacy and restraint, you stand out. You don't explain silence. You don't justify your choices. Your energy speaks for you. That calm restraint signals strength. It tells her your attention isn't cheap and your validation isn't easy to earn. Become the high-value man. She can't resist. Mystery doesn't make you a game. It makes you a man with depth. When she feels she's already figured you out, interest fades. But when there's always more to uncover, desire grows. You don't hide your truth, you pace it, and the slower she discovers you, the deeper the connection becomes. Mystery isn't manipulation, it's depth, and depth is what keeps her coming back. Respect and boundaries are the foundation of attraction, and they're the first things most men abandon when they like a woman. They become too available, too accommodating, afraid to say no. But every time you sacrifice your boundaries to please someone, you teach them to value you less. Respect starts with you. A man who respects himself doesn't chase validation, tolerate disrespect, or allow his peace to be disturbed. That self-respect radiates outward. Women sense boundaries instantly. It shows in how you speak, how you move, and how you respond. A man with boundaries values his time. He doesn't tolerate inconsistency. He doesn't argue for attention. His presence commands respect without demanding it. Boundaries aren't about control. They're about clarity. They define what's acceptable and what isn't. A man with boundaries doesn't need to raise his voice. When crossed, he withdraws his energy. That silence is more powerful than confrontation. It shows he doesn't fight for respect. He embodies it. Women are drawn to that stability. A man with boundaries is emotionally steady, not reactive, not desperate. He can care deeply without final motivation. Apply this and watch her come to you, losing himself. The most attractive men can love without self-abandonment. Respect and attraction go together. A woman might notice looks or charm, but she stays for standards. When you stand firm in your values, she knows she's dealing with a man who can lead and stay grounded. Boundaries also prevent resentment. When you overgive, you drain yourself. But when you respect your limits, every action has weight. You give by choice, not fear, and that energy is felt. Women admire men who stay calm under pressure and firm without aggression. That balance creates trust. When you protect your peace and honor your boundaries, your presence becomes magnetic. It tells her you're not looking to be controlled. You're looking to be respected. And that strength is rare.